Hey everyone, welcome back. So in the first video, we have done the basic setup on the configurations, and we were able to execute the sample test that was created. So in this video, let's try to explore and understand what files are created that we have seen and understand how this configuration works, right? So let's get into it. I've already opened the project in the Visual Studio Code, and these were the files that we have already executed and seen that it's working fine. But yeah, so let's start with the very first file from the top, Allure results. This is the result of executions that we have done in the first video, where we have executed the sample test, whether it is working fine or not, and then this has been created. This is just a report. We will see how we can generate the report in the later videos. Then node modules folder. Now, if you are coming from the Selenium background, you know like how you manage dependencies. You have pom.xml, and then you create you download those files in the left navigation. If you're using Eclipse, you will see all the dependencies being downloaded. In Node.js based project, all the dump packages or the dependency will be downloaded under node modules folder. So we define those packages or the modules dependencies in package.json with all the dependency name and then versions. And then once you say npm install, it checks in the list whatever we have, and based on that, it downloads and keep in this node module folder. So this is just a dependency. Usually you don't have to open and check these folder, but sometimes in the later, when you are going a little advanced, where you want to see what is the inbuilt functions are written in the technology that you're using. For example, if you're using WebdriverIO or Mocha, what is how the code actually is been written in the WebdriverIO, then you will explore this. But other than this, file needs to be there to write the test and execute it. We have a test folder where one sample test and their page objects has been created. So if you see, this is the sample test written in the Mocha and their page objects. So this page.ts is the parent class, where it's a default class, and then same default class will be extended in the other page classes. So it's like parent-child inheritance relationship. You just extend the parent class here and then use their methods available in the other classes. Now these other classes will consist the locators and the related action methods. For example, if you want to perform a login, we require username, password locator, and the submit button locator, and related action method that is called login, and what action you want to perform. So usually that's what page object consists of, locators and the related action methods. Yeah, so this consists of page objects, this consists of test, git ignore. This was not created by default. This I have added because when you are creating a project and when you want to push it to GitHub, you need to have few files you need to ignore. For example, when you are pushing the Node.js related projects in the GitHub, you need to exclude or ignore node modules, because that will be created automatically when you run npm install command. You need not to have this in the GitHub, and it is very large file. So skip this from the GitHub push. That is why in the GitHub ignore, I have added this folder name. And plus, we don't want to push report as well, because that also will be created when you execute your test. So these two folders as of now I have excluded. This was created manually. This was not done as part of the setup. Then package log and package.json. So first understand package.json. This will consist all the packages and their versions, some project name, basic name, and the script. And the script is, if we remember in the first video, we executed npm run wdio command to execute the test. So when we say npm run and then command name, that is wdio, it searches through the package.json script section whether any script name wdio is there. And then whatever is the actual command, it will just run this command. Then it will target this configuration file. So yeah, package.json consists of the dependency and few sample or some scripts. Package log.json is very similar to package.json, but it will consist detailed tree of the versions or the dependency that you have downloaded. Now, suppose you want to share your project with the multiple team members, and if you want to have everyone have the same version, same source of download of the dependency, package log.json should be there as part of the project, because that is required, and it will download from the shared source. So it is basically to have the consistency across all the systems in different user systems. Then Tsconfig file. Tsconfig file brings you IntelliSense in your code. When I say IntelliSense, that means nothing but auto suggestions when you write a code. For example, if I go to my test class and if I write something called await browser, you will see there are auto suggestion, and this auto suggestion is coming from WebdriverIO. And if I enter and then say dot, then automatically all the browser related methods available in the in WebdriverIO will be automatically auto suggest. It will auto suggest you here. And if you see, this is coming from WebdriverIO only. This is because we have added these configuration file in the tsconfig.json. If we remove this, if we comment this out, we'll start getting error and we'll not get auto suggestion as well. So for example, let me show you. Let me just comment it out for time being. I'll reload the project, and then if I come back here, you see you will get an error here. And then also if you try to write await browser, you're not getting any suggestion. If you type dot also, you're not getting any suggestion, right? So this is by default Node on TypeScript, but it's not the WebdriverIO suggestion. You will not be getting any suggestion like get window handles. If I say there is no window handles or switch window or set val something, you don't get auto suggestions when you don't have tsconfig file. So if you are using TypeScript, you have to have tsconfig.json and add all these types related informations. And if you are using JavaScript, then the file name should be jsconfig.json and then add these details. Right, so that brings you IntelliSense in your code, the tsconfig file. Now the last file. This is the heart of the file, the project, where you have all the configurations related details, whatever you have selected in the during the installation process. For example, what framework it should be. So it's a Mocha framework. What service you want to use, Chrome driver. This is what we have selected during the installation. What reporter you are going to use, a spec reporter, Allure reporter, and the Mocha related configurations. And then by default, few configurations will be added. For example, maximum instance capabilities based on your service selection, log level. Then there are some connection timeout, retry timeout, wait for default wait time. And there are some hook section where there before and after test. So these are the configurations that has been created. I'll suggest to keep on exploring more to understand what this configuration file should consist of, because when you're working in WebdriverIO for a long time, you need to know what we have in the configuration and where we need to manipulate, what we need to manipulate when there's some changes or requirement comes. So have that understanding. I'll go in detail as we progress in the video about in this configuration file what and all it has. But for now, just understand this file is the completely configuration file of the WebdriverIO, whether it's the browsers where your test files are located. If you want to exclude any test, what are the browser capabilities that you want to have? For example, as of now, Chrome is defined. Now, what is your base URL, your timeout, connection retry timeout, what is the services, framework, report, and the hooks configurations, right? So this is what it consists of. So yeah, these are the files that has been created as part of the setup, and this is what we have. In the next video, we'll see, understand how the test we need to write in Mocha. We're going to use Mocha as a framework. So before jumping to writing the actual test cases, we really need to understand how Mocha works, what is the structure, what we can do with the Mocha. So let's take a step back, try to understand how these basics of Mocha, and then we'll come back again to write the actual test cases in the later videos. So that's all for this video. Thank you so much.